Hi, this is an Accutrac remote control that I recently restored. It's a TX1, it's for an Accutrac 4000 turntable, and this is what it looked like when I was finished with the restoration. So I'll walk you through the process. So here's a quick overview of what it took to get this thing going. Before I got too far into the process, I wanted to do a preliminary test, and that involved removing and cleaning up the battery compartment, replacing the wire, and then I was able to hook it up, and it did function. So I proceeded with working on the replacement buttons. Here were the old buttons and what they look like. So I generated some new ones. It involved measuring up the current buttons, creating the CAD models, and then the 3D prints. Also discovered that the infrared transmitter was held in place by this little foam gasket kind of thing, and that it was disintegrated. I needed to replace that as well. Then lastly, I went after making the faceplate, generated the graphics in PowerPoint, printed that out on glossy photo paper, covered it with laminate, and then cut it out and trimmed it all up with X-Acto knives. So lastly, I just want to mention that I'm going to make all these parts available to you. They'll be downloadable at makerworld.com. So to open this thing up and to get access to the buttons, you've got 4 screws to remove on the back side. And then you've got to remove the battery, open the battery compartment, remove the battery. And then once you're inside, you've got 6 small screws and 6 small washers that you're going to have to remove to get access to the circuit board. And once you remove that, you'll see all of the buttons. So now you can remove the circuit board. Here's a quick look at that. And you have access to all of the buttons. And you can see from the back side how white they once were. But they've either been exposed to sunlight or nicotine, because they certainly browned up quite a bit. So after measuring the buttons up, I went into AutoCAD and created the 3D model. And then I exported the 3D model into the Bamboo slicing software. And you can see that I'm printing the buttons in the upright orientation, which meant that there was a post that was going to extend below 1 millimeter. So I turned on supports there so I could print it in the vertical position, which gave me a nice cosmetic, and it allowed me to iron the top uppermost surface. So here's a side-by-side look at the 2 buttons. One is the original, obviously, and there's the second one that I created. So once you have your replacement buttons in place, reinstall that foam cushion, and then you can insert the circuit board. I've just temporarily flipped this thing over to show you what it looks like with the new white buttons. Here's the original holder for the transmitter, and you can see that it's cracked and it's lost its strength, so it really wasn't holding the transmitter anymore. So I made this new white one that you see here, and it positions into a slot at the front and will hold that transmitter in place. After taking a lot of measurements off the remote, I went into PowerPoint and generated the graphics. So once the graphics were complete, I printed them on glossy photo paper, as you can see here, and then I laminated them with a clear laminate. So it takes time and patience to get your X-Acto knives in a straight edge and to go after cutting out each of those openings and then trimming the exterior to fit. After some trial and error and some minor adjustments, we've got a finished faceplate. Here's what it looks like installed. Once you're happy with it, you can glue it in place, but I've just got it sitting there temporarily. Also made one using the wood grain pattern. Here's what that looks like. So here's a side-by-side comparison of the finished restoration. Mine is on the right, the original is on the left, and you can see the buttons are slightly discolored. So lastly, here's a comparison of the original on the right and the restored one on the left, using the wood grain pattern and some black replacement buttons. So again, you can go to makerworld.com, download these parts, and print the pieces that you need. And thanks for watching. I hope this helps. Have a good day.